They tell you she's alone. The truth is, she's in profound companionship with herself, engaged in the most crucial journey there is. This path, often misunderstood, is a royal road to unsuspected power and self-knowledge, an inner symphony that few ears are yet attuned to hear. Far from being a sign of lack, the solitude chosen by some women is a vibrant affirmation of their quest for authenticity, an intimate dance with their own soul on the sacred path of individuation, so cherished by Jung. She isn't the shadow of an absence, but the light of an intense inner presence. Together, let's explore not just the surface, but the subtle currents and powerful energy emanating from this choice. This isn't praise for endured loneliness, but a revelation about the strength of conscious, fully embraced solitude, a true inner epic to become who one truly is. She's not a damsel in distress waiting to be rescued. She's an explorer charting the territories of her own inner kingdom. Her solitude isn't an arid desert, but a secret garden she cultivates with patience and love. This choice of solitude is, above all, a quest for self, a deliberate dive into the depths of her being. It's a sacred time, an enchanted interlude where the soul can finally breathe, expand, far from the incessant noise of external expectations, projections, and preconceived roles. In this silence, she learns to listen to the whisper of her own inner guidance, that small voice often stifled by the tumult of relationships or social demands. She discovers her strength, not a strength that opposes, but one that welcomes, that integrates. Her freedom isn't an escape, but a permission she grants herself to be authentically her, to vibrate at her own unique and sacred frequency. It's not that she rejects the world. She's learning to dance with it from her center, from that space of calm and clarity she has found within. One could say she's undertaking her own process of individuation, that Jungian path towards the realization of the self, where every experience, every introspection, brings her closer to her totality. She no longer defines herself by the gaze of others, but by the intimate resonance of her own truth. Often this path to chosen solitude is part of a process of personal healing and reconstruction. It's not about forgetting the past, but transmuting it. She isn't a victim of her past experiences, ruminating on her disappointments. She's an alchemist, transforming the lead of her pain into the gold of wisdom. Emotional wounds, relationships that left scars, become portals to a deeper understanding of her own mechanisms, her unconscious patterns. It's here that the Jungian shadow, that part of us we prefer not to see, is invited into the light, not to be judged, but to be integrated. Each past disappointment may have been a mirror, sometimes cruel, reflecting back aspects of herself that called for healing. Solitude then becomes a protective cocoon where she can tend to her wounds, not in bitter isolation, but with tender self-compassion. She learns to give herself what she might have expected from the outside: validation, security, unconditional love. This isn't a sterile withdrawal, it's an active reconstruction, a way of building inner foundations so solid that no external storm can uproot her. She understands that carrying the overflow, this inner saturation, is no longer an option. The excess of undigested emotions, of unassimilated experiences, finally finds a space to settle, to transform into new energy, a quiet strength. This approach is the fruit of true emotional maturity and hard-won autonomy. She's not an eternally dissatisfied woman who can't find anyone good enough. She's a soul who has reached inner completeness and no longer yearns to be saved or completed by another. She has understood deep in her cells that the myth of a partner who will fill all her voids is an illusion, a projection of the unconscious. She has outgrown that childlike expectation to embrace her own sovereignty. She knows she is whole, here and now. Her happiness no longer depends on an external presence, but on her ability to cultivate joy, peace, and love from her own center. As Stoic wisdom suggests, she focuses on what is within her control: her thoughts, her actions, her response to events, rather than exhausting herself trying to control the external or waiting for others to meet her needs. Marcus Aurelius invited us to find that inner citadel. This woman has built it, stone by stone, introspection by introspection. She aspires to be seen, recognized in her entirety, respected for her individuality, but not as a condition for her existence. She is already. Her presence radiates this autonomy, not as cold independence, but as a silent invitation for everyone to find their own strength. Consequently, women who opt for this way of life are often particularly selective in their relationships. She isn't haughty or inaccessible. She is a guardian of her inner peace, her vibration. Her priority is to preserve this precious balance, this serenity she has taken so long to build. She no longer engages in an active, sometimes anxious, search for a partner as if it were a vital emergency. She has understood that true connection isn't forced. It's recognized, it resonates. She has learned to sense atmospheres, to use her inner radar to discern what is aligned with her energy and what is not. This isn't judgment, but a matter of frequency. The law of vibration teaches us that we attract what vibrates on the same wavelength as ourselves. By raising her own frequency through self-work, self-love, and the quest for meaning, she knows that the encounters meant for her will manifest naturally, effortlessly, like an obvious synchronicity. She chooses self-love and self-respect over the sometimes desperate search for external love to fill an emotional void. That void she has already explored, understood, and begun to fill with her own light. A powerful emphasis is placed on the desire for authenticity. She isn't incapable of compromise. She refuses compromises that would diminish her, that would force her to give up essential parts of herself. She has worn masks for too long, played roles to please, to be accepted, to not cause trouble. Today she aspires to true relationships, where she can be fully herself, with her strengths and vulnerabilities, her light and her shadows. She has understood that devaluing herself or over-adapting to maintain a relationship is a form of betrayal to her soul. Her current radiance comes precisely from this acceptance of her totality. She no longer seeks to fit an ideal, but to embody her unique truth. If a relationship means having to dim her light, conform to expectations that don't resonate with her, or deny her fundamental values, then she prefers the clarity of her own company. This isn't selfishness, it's integrity. It's recognizing that her primary loyalty is to her own path of individuation, this unfolding of her authentic being that Jung described as essential. And this in no way means a rejection of love or relationships. On the contrary, she hasn't given up on love. She aspires to a more meaningful connection, based on reciprocity, emotional depth, mutual respect, and a true sharing of souls. She's not looking for a crutch, nor someone to save. She desires a dance partner, another whole being with whom to co-create a relationship that elevates, inspires, and nourishes both individuals in their respective growth. She has let go of the idea of a fusion where one gets lost in the other, for the vision of two suns shining together, each with its own light, creating an even greater illumination. She is ready to wait, not passively, but by actively continuing her own development, for that encounter that will be a soul-to-soul resonance, a clear knowing of the heart. She has understood that the quality of a relationship depends on the quality of presence and love that each partner has first cultivated for themselves. Her past hypervigilance, that tendency to sense the slightest mismatch, has transformed into a sharp intuition, a subtle feeling that guides her towards more fitting and nourishing interactions. This life choice, this inner posture, inevitably challenges traditional societal expectations. She isn't at war with norms. She embodies an alternative, another possible path to female fulfillment. By living her chosen solitude with serenity and confidence, she silently questions the received notion that a woman absolutely needs to be in a couple to be complete, happy, or socially validated. She deconstructs, by her mere existence, the myth of an inherent emotional dependence in women. She shows that there is strength, completeness, and profound joy to be found within oneself, regardless of relationship status. This is a questioning of inherited patterns, often unconscious, that still dictate how a woman should live. Her journey is an invitation to broaden our vision, to recognize the multiplicity of valid and fulfilling life paths. She doesn't say her path is the only one, but she courageously affirms that it is hers, and that it is legitimate. Through this embodiment, she becomes, often without seeking it, a source of inspiration for others. She isn't an unattainable model. She is a reflection of the possibility for everyone, man or woman, to journey towards their own authenticity. Seeing her live aligned with her values, at peace with her choices, others may feel encouraged to listen to their own inner whisper, to question the pressures they face, to redefine their own conception of love, happiness, and success. Her quiet radiance, her authentic presence, can act as a catalyst, a sign that it's possible to step off the beaten path and find one's own way. She doesn't teach through speeches, but by example. She shows the beauty of a life where one stops searching externally for what one already carries within. It's an invitation to personal sovereignty, to take back the reins of one's own existence, and to stop being affected to the point of losing oneself by external expectations or judgments. At the heart of this journey lies the Jungian concept of individuation. It's not simply about becoming individualistic, but becoming an individual. That is, a separate, indivisible unit, a whole. It's the process by which a being becomes who they are destined to be, by consciously integrating the different aspects of their psyche, including the shadow, the anima or animus, to achieve completeness and differentiation from the collective. The woman who chooses solitude for a time, or for good, is often engaged, consciously or not, in this heroic journey. She withdraws from the they say, and the one must, to hear the voice of herself, that organizing center of the psyche. It's a demanding path, requiring courage and perseverance, as it involves confronting her fears, her conditioning, her wounds. But it's also a path of profound liberation, leading to a more authentic, more meaningful life, where one no longer endures life, but creates it, in alignment with one's essence. She learns to dance with her unconscious, to decode the messages of her dreams, her synchronicities, her intuitions, all of which are beacons on this path of individuation. And the key message, the fundamental prerequisite underpinning this entire exploration, is the crucial importance of self-love. She isn't narcissistic or selfish because she chooses herself. She has understood that loving herself, respecting herself, valuing herself, is the indispensable foundation before she can build a healthy and fulfilling romantic relationship, if that is her future desire. How can one offer full and complete love if one isn't already overflowing with that love for oneself? How can one expect respect from others if one doesn't deeply respect oneself? She learns to be her own best friend, her most trusted confidant, her most unwavering support. She nourishes her soul, takes care of her body, cultivates her mind. This self-love isn't a destination, but a constant journey, a daily practice. It's what allows her to set healthy boundaries, to say no without guilt, to choose what nourishes her, and to discard what dims her light. It is the bedrock on which her strength, her serenity, and her ability to radiate are built. In conclusion, the truth about women who live alone, without a man, when they consciously embrace this path, is far from the cliches of sad loneliness or romantic failure. It's a symphony of inner strength, enlightened independence, sharp self-knowledge, and an unwavering quest for authenticity. It's not an end in itself, nor an inescapable fate, but often a crucial stage, an initiatory passage towards a more whole and vibrant version of themselves. She isn't against love. She is for a truer, deeper love that begins with self-love and then extends, potentially, to a soul-to-soul connection in mutual respect and freedom. This is a profound invitation to reconsider our judgments, to deconstruct our own stereotypes, and to value the infinite richness of each individual experience, especially those that dare to deviate from traditional patterns to blaze their own trail of light. If this message resonates with you, If you recognize a part of your journey or your aspirations in these words, comment below. I choose my authenticity to affirm your own journey. Subscribe so you don't miss our next explorations of the soul, and share this revelation with those who might need to hear that their path, even if solitary, is sacred and powerful. Remember this. Your worth isn't measured by your relationship status, but by the depth of the connection you cultivate with your soul, that sacred whisper guiding you towards your own truth.